passionate about Cleveland sports.
He's going in! Touchdown!
Browns, Indians, Cavs, the Big Ten, and more.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again!
Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond.
A swing and a drive! To deep right!
Here are your hosts, Andy Billman and Jarid Watson.
Hello and welcome to Draft Night. Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jarid Watson, and we are brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out, original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Live on Facebook and YouTube this evening. And tonight with us, guest Paul Flynn. Happy NFL Draft Night, folks. The Browns are picking 10th this evening. Topics that we're going to discuss tonight beyond the draft. Trent Williams rumors, those are still going on. Offensive tackle, is that a shoo-in for the Browns? It's been, Joe Thomas is the only one since 1970.
Yep.
See if that move is what they do. And some stuff in between, including drink choices, rather. And I'm going to have Paul, our guest, Paul Flynn of BevMax, joining us. He's a former place kicker for Western Michigan, who's going to help us, rate our drinks for the evening, tell you fine folks what you should be drinking this evening. And we'll start with that. So, Paul, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on with us. And before you do anything else, I'm going to tell you this. This is just a drink I threw together with the random things I had in my bar at the moment, right? It's Bullet Rye, about 2.5 to 3 to 1 ratio here. Bullet Rye to Grand Marnier.
Ooh.
with some cherries, 4 dashes of bitters, a splash of OJ, and a splash of water.
Wow.
Dude,
Don Draper.
Oh,
wow. That's creativity right there.
Oh,
Yeah, seriously, you're not fucking around, Jarid Watson.
I guess
Really?
not.
God.
Is there any ice in there?
No.
No.
The cherries were frozen. That was my ice.
Gotcha.
Smart man.
I've got a little ice here because we got a long way to go here. So I'm kind of joining you here. I've got
a good amount of water.
I've got a beautiful Cleveland Underground, specially made by for BevMax for our company right there. Beautiful, aged in maple syrup barrels. So with a little bit of sweet vermouth, a little bit of orange bitters, and it's just, this is cheers everybody. Cheers everybody.
Yeah. Cheers.
This is what a night. Have we been waiting for something like this for a long time? No sports, locked in our houses, drinking, eating, I guess trying to do yoga and stuff like that.
Yes, literally doing yes. The yoga mat is right next to me right now in my setup. Yes.
Taking your dogs for 6 walks a day.
Did 3 miles today.
Finding excuses to get out of the house. It could be raking leaves. It could be stuff you never thought you'd be wanting to do.
But it's
outside.
But it's football, and it's football 365 here at the Flynn family house. So it's one of those things we're so excited for tonight. So excited for the draft, for the NFL, for the people, for Cleveland, for the Browns, the Browns, which is spelled Brahn, Browns.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Maybe after a couple of those Cleveland Undergrounds.
No, maybe
things like that.
Maybe I'm thinking about a couple of Pittsburgh guys calling them the Browns. But it's exciting. It's exciting what's going to happen in this draft. I'm excited to be here to pair a couple of things. We've got some wine, we've got some beer, we've got some booze.
There you go.
And it's really exciting. And I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Well, you're too far away with all that beer and wine and stuff. I should have came down here, right?
Well, here's the great thing about that. So BevMax, the incredible organization that I work for, is one of the biggest retailers in the Northeast. We've got 9 stores in Connecticut. We've got 3 stores in New York, a few more on the way, and we ship all over the United States.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So whatever you need, I think we made some shipments out to Ohio today. So we're excited. I'm excited to be here. And let's let it rip.
Yes. What is do a display here. So what do you got? What the Cleveland Underground? That's a go-to, obviously. What other wine? Like if you're a team that like, I want to sip some fine wine if I'm the Bengals snipes. We're about ready to celebrate Joe Burrow coming to Cincinnati. What would you suggest for a good Bengals fan out there?
Bengals. So you're thinking Joe Burrow. You got to grab that quarterback. So Joe Burrow, what is he? He's cool. He's smooth. He's sleek. So we're going with Pinot Noir.
Ooh,
Pinot Noir. So, little bread and butter Pinot Noir. Silky smooth, kind of just goes with everything. The king of all, Burgundy from France. It is just beautiful. And, maybe with a great cigar. Joe Burrow loves those stogies. So
do you have a preferred Pinot Noir?
Well, the one that I've got in my glass tonight. Oh, I just happen to have it right here. This right here from California is just one of those great value Pinot Noirs.
Yeah, let me see which one it is because I have one in mind too. I'm very curious.
Well, and it's right here. It's $14. It's called Bread and Butter.
Bread and butter. Gotcha. Yes.
Okay.
And it's simple. It's uncomplicated, but it delivers. And that's what Joe Burrow is doing.
Hey,
how do you not take that pick? This is your. These how many quarterbacks come along like this? This is your Brady. This is your Manning. So.
Hey, as a Browns fan, if the Bengals don't want to take Joe Burrow, it's fine. He's too good.
He's too good.
Ship him down to Miami. Ship him down to some NFL, NFC East team. That's fine. He's too good.
I didn't say that he's going to survive the first 4 games of the season. I mean, do they have an offensive line that's going to, put up for him? But
they're going to have to do something, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now, let's say tonight, Browns fans are kind of in the middle, but let's say you're a because you used to be a Pats fan, but now you're a Bucks fan. You're a Brady guy.
Of course. Yeah.
But now you traded to go to the Bucks. But if you're a Pats fan and you're probably a little dark and you're a little like, we don't have a quarterback and what's going on with our team, what would you suggest for someone who needs a hard, stiff drink tonight?
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm going straight bourbon on that baby right there.
Yeah.
Bourbon?
I think, bourbon's the drink of choice right now. It's the hottest thing going right. I love these guys with Cleveland Underground. There's so many great offerings in the whiskey world right now. But I tell you right now, what is going on up in Foxborough?
It's wonderful.
Their quarterback depth chart
just unravel.
One unknown name, and that's all I saw.
And
when I checked in today.
You got the rumors, the Tua thing. I don't see that happening. I don't see them drafting up. They don't have the arsenal to do that.
Right.
I could see Tooney being traded during the draft tonight. So that's going to be interesting.
I could too.
But, you look at that defense and the heart. Kyle Van Noy, here's a guy. He's been shipped out of town. A lot of, just a lot of it's interesting up in New England. You're used to having, that Brady situation, that Brady Belichick, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be exciting.
It's amazing for Pats fans. We've been through as Browns fans. When you don't have your quarterback, you don't hear these things. Oh, we're going to trade down, trade up. We're going to have a fun draft. We're going to move around, shake and move. When you don't have a quarterback, everything gets a little more tense. It's a little more stressful. And the other thing, too, about a Pats fan, which, by the way, can you tell? I love seeing them grind a little bit tonight. I do think the Pats have Cam Newton written all over. I think when it's all said and done, he's going to hike up 95. He's going to take that long drive up through the Virginias and through past Jarid.
Are you telling me, Andy? Are you telling me that's the long-term plan, or is that the bridge? Is he
Band-Aid?
Because it wouldn't make any sense to go. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough.
But wouldn't you want to see what Belichick could do with Cam in a couple of years? I'd be curious. If Cam's going to ever get fixed, that guy might be able to do it. Might.
No cap room.
There's no cap room there.
There's no cap room. And why would you want Cam Newton when you have Brian Hoyer?
The destroyer, baby.
By the way, Cleveland are
destroyer. I mean,
he'll win you a good 6 games.
Yeah, and that's probably all you need in the AFC East with the Jets.
6-10 usually.
Yeah, that's not changing either. That is a good sign.
Oh my gosh. For those of you who don't know, too, I'm sure people are recognizing Paul Flynn is a famous Western Michigan kicker. So I'm sure someone are wondering, yes, we have the Western Michigan kicker here from this famous run. He's also, Paul and I talked, he also grew up with Charlie Nagy. So we got some Indians ties there too.
Yeah.
So we got some fun stuff there. But Paul is a very knowledgeable fan. But let's just get this out as I see the Bengals now finally on the clock. Looks like there's no way. Look, let's just all do a quick vote. There's no way the Bengals fuck this up and don't take Burrow, right? There's no way.
They've fucked up everything else in their past. So, but
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, it really is. The Bengals have been an absolute mess, even going back to bringing Hugh Jackson back to the team. I mean, that wasn't that long ago, and thinking they were going to get some info out of him, which clearly they didn't. I mean, it just, look, the Bengals got a long road to hoe here, and Joe Burrow is not going to be, their panacea of football ailments. He's just not going to be. But at the same time, if he can stay healthy and can survive this next season, however it may happen and play out, then there could be a chance for growth over the next few years. This year ain't going to be it. No. Next year, if they have a full season, I mean, we'll see how this all plays out. It might be beneficial to the Bengals in a sense where he might have a year to kind of figure things out with the team, depending on how it's so hard to guess, Paul, whether they're going to play actual games, whether they're going to play some other modified version, because we know that the Major League Baseball has been working on something modified. So you don't know exactly what you're even up against for the season. So it's hard to make any judgments beyond what you know from normally what would happen, which would be Joe Burrow, again, and the Bengals, rough road ahead, no matter what.
Well, you're looking at things like, okay, no OTAs. When's training camp going to be? Yeah. When are guys going to be able to get playbooks in their hand? When are they going to be able to work out? It's such an unknown. It is such an unknown.
I think the one thing that'll help the Bengals is Burrow, because we found out, I've been doing research for something else. Burrow is in Athens tonight. So Athens, Ohio is a short jog over. The one thing that will help him is he's doing that short jog over. Also, is going to help out Chase Young, because Chase Young, I didn't realize this until Jared pointed out, Chase Young's from the Washington, D.C. area. Yeah. So the first 2 picks in the draft,
oh my God,
just take a jog right down their home to go to their first camp, which is such a break. I mean, that to me, normally I'd be like, who gives a fuck? Doesn't matter if they're in Tennessee, they're going to California or whatever. But in this case here, I think that helps actually, because you're asking someone, hey, if I need to, I can pick stuff up. There's no social distancing, sure, but at least I can be around. Like, I think that will help out Burrow a lot. At least and I will say, I think that's where Burrow's different. He's from Southern Ohio. He certainly knows what's going on with the Bengals situation. I think that really, really helps with the Bengals. I hope I'm wrong, because I'd love to see the Bengals suffers. I'm a Browns fan, but I'm being truthful. I think that is I truthfully think that's going to be a big win. I can see him I think he's going to be very successful. I was so impressed how after the Central Florida game where he got knocked on his ass, he started throwing the ball well in that game, and it carried all throughout the year. And Jared and I talked about this. That Texas game, after you saw the Texas game play, you're like, this is on. And that Tuscaloosa win to all the way through the Georgia game and that domination of Oklahoma. I mean, he was just like, throwing balls against Oklahoma in the end zone. I mean, he's
unflappable.
He's a stud. Yeah. He's a stud. Yeah, that's this is a career quarterback, so you've got to hop on that. It's still, you look at the Bengals. Okay, let's look at this division. Where are they going? What are they doing?
Well,
are they 4 wins? Are they 5 wins?
I think next year is a pass because of the rookie. But Jared and I alluded to this, and this is where it's advanced for the Browns too. Lamar Jackson had a great year. If he follows it up with a great year, then we all need to realize the Ravens are here to stay. The Steelers at some point have to fall apart with Ben. Ben has to retire.
Have you seen him lately on social media?
Yeah, Davy Crockett.
He looks awful. He looks like a character out of Lord of the Rings.
That beard during the interview. I mean, it was fucking
he's never been a beautiful man. Let's put it.
And not that I'm some male model, but my God, I mean, I've had better days rolling out of bed. I mean, that was pretty rough.
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh my gosh! But no, I think the Bengals, and I think true for Washington. I think the only thing the Bengals can contemplate, which has been rumored, the Dolphins have all these picks. They have 2 firsts this year, 2 firsts next year, and I believe 2 firsts again in 2022. So if you package a bunch of that, you might pause, but even then, you can't do it. You gotta take Burrow.
Well, and that's exactly it. Is the only rumors that I'm seeing is that the Dolphins are going to try to do what they can to put something together to throw at the Bengals. But I cannot, for the life of me, and I'm guessing Paul, you're with us too on this. There's not a chance in hell you trade that away.
How can you trade that away?
Yeah,
I mean, this is a pick. So what are you going to do? You're going to trade it to the Dolphins, and I just don't see that happening. And what are you going to get in return?
That's my point, right?
Yeah,
and it's something that we've learned. Draft picks look valuable, but it's a crapshoot. We've learned that as Browns fans. I always warn people, I'm like, draft picks don't mean good players. All they are is draft picks. You don't know what these are. It's like those Mario things you hit with the question mark. It could be anything. And you hope it's a mushroom, but it might be a banana peel. So you gotta just be ready for that stuff.
You never know what's going on in these rooms. You might have coordinators that go, "Hey, I love Herbert. I love him. I love Tua." Can you imagine if there was some just kind of crazy thing saying, "We're the Bengals. We don't want Burrow. We want to go one with another quarterback."
You know what? And I would say that actually that's more believable than them trading away the number one pick. I think it's more believable that they would take a Tua randomly and surprise the hell out of everyone tonight.
Really? No,
I don't. But I'm saying if I had to pick between one terrible decision and another, that would be the terrible decision that I would bet on over accepting a trade and here's away.
How many people thought Baker Mayfield was going number one?
Oh my gosh! Not until about an hour before the draft.
Yeah, that was such
an hour before the draft. I was tipped off. He's going, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, let me ask this, because there is an elephant in the room here. Paul, we talked about all your connections and all the folks you know. Give us the inside scoop on what the Browns are going to go tonight, since Mr. Haslam is one of your buddies.
Jimmy's a friend. Jimmy, I know he is. They're holed up down in Knoxville. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and I'm sure he's got a great crew with him. I don't have any inside information.
Yeah, we know that.
Just pass along to the Haslams. If they ever are bored, Cleveland, Andy and Jared, Cleveland Beyond has plenty of content ready for you at any time. And now we have a wine and liquor connoisseur on our show.
Hey,
who's going to take us through the world. Now, real quick, Paul.
Yes.
What other drinks? What other things do you have anything else you want to show us? Anything you're like, hey, there's some new things out there. And my other question I actually have on the liquor front before we get back to football. What's been your hottest selling thing on the COVID-19 thing?
Great question. So, you look at, we're very fortunate here in Connecticut that we have been deemed an essential business.
Right.
So, I feel like I'm a doctor. So I have to be here for all my patients on a daily basis. So, it's interesting.
Self-care and stress relief are important.
That's right.
So people right now, what they're doing? It's like when anything is uncomfortable in life, you go back to what you know. So people are going to brands. They're going to things that they remember.
That's
things that, you don't want. It's kind of a Coca-Cola society in a sense, but you have these great brands like Josh, which is a great California producer that makes just really good affordable wines. La Crema is another great one right there. But we're also seeing a lot of things, especially in our area, in Fairfield County, Connecticut. You're having a tremendous upsell of things because people aren't spending money to go out to restaurants.
Yep.
So you're
That's a good point.
You're getting that consumer that is not going out on maybe a 2 to 3 night and spending their money there, where they're spending it with us at the store. And
that's a good point.
So it's also, you got a lot of people that are bored at home, and there's a lot of creativity going on. So a lot of people are making some crazy drinks. They're just seeing some, just off the wall kind of margaritas and stuff like that. So we're getting, people are just buying the strangest things right now. So it's really all over the place. But it's interesting. Every day for us right now is like Christmas. It's delivery, it's online business. We're also open for walk-in business at BevMax. Again, once BevMax Connecticut, 9 stores in Connecticut, 3 stores in New York, bevmax.com for national shipping.
There you go. Yeah, boy.
Good plug. And but we're selling everything, and everybody's so happy we're open. And there's just so many, you're seeing a lot of good things out of people. So we're really happy to be open and to be providing for people, because it's a tough time.
Yes, it is.
You are providing a service in a time that it's absolutely needed more than ever at this point. And I will say that I love the fact that there are folks out there that are sticking to their guns and going with what they know, the Jack Daniels, the Budweisers and such.
Yeah.
But there are also those folks out there that are expanding their palates. I'm a big fan of that. I love to try new liqueurs, add new things to my mixes. I do a hell of a blueberry basil martini, stuff like that. I have a little past in bartending, long time ago. And I still get to try some of those things out. Now I have more time to do that. And I will tell you this, Paul, while you're on here, and this is how I hold myself accountable. I'm going to go ahead and look. Do you ship to Maryland? Because I will hop on BevMax.
Yes, we do. Yes,
and
we
get myself. I'm over here in between DC and Baltimore, just south of the Ratbird Stadium.
So we ship to Maryland. We also have a great relationship with a whiskey producer down there called Sagamore. And they produce some of the best ryes in the United States, and it's a great connection with the owner of Under Armour, and that's one of the products that Maryland is doing us real proud. So
that's funny. Are they tied to the Sagamore Pendry Hotel by chance? Right across the water from Under Armour. Actually, I have to look at that. But it's real
sure
fancy joint. Yeah, my wife and I love going there just to go and have cocktails, honestly. So
sweet.
Well, we should announce as we raise our glasses to any Bengals fans out there. It won't be Browns fans, but Burrow has been picked. He is officially a Bengal.
No drama.
I'm going to put my feelings aside. I don't like to see the Bengals do well, but that is the smart pick, as the obvious pick. Needs to move on. Chase Young's next, and then when the draft gets a little more interesting. But Burrow did go, and I saw his parents there. It's so weird. You can tell everybody's got these cameras and they're doing these high angles, so you can't get the real emotion from Joe. It's like, I think he's emotional. He's got his head down, but I can't see because I'm like an ant on the wall.
Is he lighting up his stogie or no?
No, he's got headphones. He's got headphones on. He's got headphones. Well, he's probably he's probably in a basement somewhere. So I'm sure he's thinking, I guess the smoke is good for his lungs. Let me ask you this: one of my last questions for you is you are one of those transplant good NFL fans. Because I know you said you're a Raiders fan. Now you're a Patriot fan.
I was a Raiders fan because I love Fred Biletnikoff, Cliff Branch, and Dave Casper, and those 70s Raiders team. Then because living in the Northeast, I became a Giants fan because they practiced. They had their summer camp at Fairview University where I lived.
Yeah.
So my parents would take me there, and I would carry the players' helmets.
Ooh, and that's cool.
Oh, way back in the 70s, Bob Tucker, Spider Lockhart, all these great old Giants. And I became a big fan of one guy, and it was Phil Simms. And when I was kicking during high school and college, Phil actually asked me to come and do his camps. So I got to know Phil pretty well. And then they got rid of Phil. Phil got hurt. Osnetler came in, won a Super Bowl. And then I left there and I went right up the pike to the Pats in some pretty down years.
Yep.
Some very down years. And
the fun years when the Browns used to beat them all the time. Those were fun years.
Those are the fun years.
Yeah. They did the bad Foxborough with McPherson and, half the guys on the Patriots like, I don't even know who these fucking guys are. This is great. It's a bye week. We need these.
But I was very fortunate when I left Western Michigan. I transferred back to Connecticut, to Central Connecticut. And one of my great teammates at the time just happened to be a defensive lineman by the name of Scott Pioli.
Ooh.
And Scott ended up having a pretty good career.
Yeah, he did.
And, he made a pretty good pick way back when he drafted some guy named Tom Brady. And it all went from there.
Not bad.
That's
but
not.
now Brady's gone, Gronk is gone. So, that transplant, I don't know. not a big fan of Florida, but
How long does that last? Do you think? How long does that last? Because I got to be honest with you, I don't see you any more than a year or two.
2 years.
I think it's a year or two. It's how can it possibly go past that?
You can't.
It can't.
And what do you do
between Gronk's health?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that we'll do is, and the name escapes me, but he wanted the Browns job, the coach down there, Arians.
Oh,
Arians is very hungry to win quickly.
Sure.
So I think they will put all the pressure in the world. And if there's ever a time, because of what's going on in the country, obviously this offseason is going to be weird. At least you got two guys who know each other, who are going to be ready to roll the balls out and get it going. I think that's going to be a big factor. And you can tell because Brady, I guess, has already been caught in the park throwing passes. And they said, no, there's social distancing, bud. You can't. I know you're Tom Brady, but maybe this is how they do it in Foxborough, but in Tampa,
Yeah. Well, we got to remember this, and we got to keep this in mind too for the both of you. And that's that the Browns last year were the hype team, right?
Yeah.
They had all the hype before anything ever happened, before anyone stepped on the field. This year it's Tampa Bay by default, just because of those two. And you can't look past, your Mike Evans and everyone else that they've got going on down there with Tampa Bay, that they are the hype team coming into this season.
Yes, they are by far.
Is there going to be a Hard Knocks?
Yeah, good question.
Is Leonard Fournette going to go to the Tampa Bay after,
That's a great call, too. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, there are so many things going on right now.
I heard a lot of rumors today, too. Trent Williams has also been rumored to come to Cleveland, going to Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay needs a left tackle. So that'd make a lot of sense. So Tampa Bay is definitely that hot team. All right, Paul. Give us one more time. BevMax, all your plugs. Give it to us, one rounding out, and give us everything in one shot.
So BevMax.com. BevMax, that's our stores. We have 9 stores in the state of Connecticut. We've got 3 stores in New York. We've got a few more stores we're going to be opening up in Connecticut. BevMax.com. We ship all over the United States. We ship wine, spirits, beer, whatever you need. We love what we do. We have great people. I have the greatest job in the world. I work for the greatest people, and I'm just so happy to be here with you guys. This is awesome. This is the start of the NFL season right now. So excited. Can't wait to go buy my Tampa Bay Bucks hat after, but I'm going to put on
your
my
Baker Mayfield jersey, right? There you go. Yeah, boy.
There we go.
There we go.
That's what we've been waiting
There
for all
we
night.
go.
There we go.
This was sent to me by a very good friend. So and maybe he's watching right now. Maybe he's a little busy, but
he might be a little busy.
Might be a tiny bit. When Paul Flynn, we're gonna have to have you back on. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate all your cocktails and your stories. We didn't even get to the Charlie Nagy stuff yet. I'll keep that Browns hat on, brother. You keep
yeah.
Don't you flip and take that off so quick.
See, I got the orange shirt on right there.
I did. I did. Don't be embarrassed. I go into coffee shops all the time in Connecticut. I'm like, I am a Browns fan. We are here to win games, people.
Hot team.
Paul, thank you so much for coming on.
I really appreciate it. Have a great night. Enjoy. Thanks.
Cheers, Paul. Take care.
Cheers.
Take care. Thanks. That's Paul Flynn, BevMax.com. Come on. He is a great guy. And I've really enjoyed meeting him over the last 2 days, and his lovely wife, Jarid, knows so well, and they are good people. Anyways, Terry Flynn.
Glad we were able to do that, Andy. Fun way to start out draft night this evening for the NFL. Fun night for us. Fun way to do it, especially talking cocktails. And Paul's a guy who's got stories. He does.
We're going to have back.
And let's be real about this. It is random. It is random how he has come across some of the folks that he has in his network. And we haven't even really begun to dive in. I know that you're familiar with his wife as well. You've done work with her, and she's got her own connections as well. So plenty of fun stories to be told, and I'm sure that we'll have Paul back. Again, BevMax.com. Check them out, BevMax.com, and get your delicious drinks and beverages shipped straight to you. BevMax.com. Cool deal.
So yes, and let me give one more shout out to Terry Flynn and I we just started working together too, and I work with DT Sluffman and Fritz Mitchell, but she's a part of that crew, and she is wonderful. I love Terry. She's one of my faves.
Well, that's awesome.
All right, so let's now transition now to the draft. So Chase Young's now off the board. I'm glad the Redskins didn't mess around.
Yeah, that worked out pretty well.
let's now reestablish ourselves now that we've let the alcohol set in. So the first two picks have now come off the board. These are picks we thought we were going to see. Now, for the first time, there's always a pick. Sometimes it's number 1, sometimes it's not till 4 or 5.
Right.
District number 3. The Lions are a wild card.
This is all, yeah. I think it gets crazy already. I think this is where the possibility of things getting shifted around. It starts right now with this number 3 pick. Yeah. Does another Buckeye go number 3? Is it Okudah? Or do the Lions make another move? I don't know.
Well, the big rumors, the kind of upset what you're saying is well tied into Cleveland. So the Browns have been rumored for Trent Williams. So that's something we're gonna have to watch tonight. Nothing's come out about that yet, unless I can tell. We'll have to do a check here in a second again, but I haven't heard anything about that. And I don't think they would announce it now during the draft. So they get muddled into the waters. But I think the bigger thing here is, Okudah has been rumored for a while, has been rumored on draft picks. There's been a big rumor speculation for the last basically 72 hours that he's going to drop. The Lions are still ticking on the clock. Looks like 3 minutes left. I think this has also been rumored for is the latest rumors the Dolphins trading up, not for a quarterback, but to pick their offensive lineman of choice, which is where it could get really dicey. Let's say the Browns really do want an offensive tackle, which we all think they do. Because if that means they believe the Giants are going to take an offensive tackle.
Yeah.
So that means 2 offensive tackles don't even make it to 5. And then at 5, you have to start thinking the Lions are going to do whatever they're going to do. Chargers don't seem like they're linked to any offensive tackle. But Jared, to already have 2 off the board, if that happens, we don't know. We're speculating. Let's say the Lions do make that trade and the Dolphins do make that pick for an offensive lineman. That will domino a little bit.
Well, it depends on who that guy is, because I'm still sticking with Jedrick Wills going to the Browns at 10. That's where I'm at.
I think it's going to be Wills. I mean,
you're looking at Wirfs and Thomas maybe going earlier. Or are you looking at? I mean, does somebody else jump and grab Jedrick Wills? I think that's a possibility.
The Browns and Thomas have been linked a lot in the recent days. Originally, I was hearing Brock, the kid out of Louisville, but I'm not hearing that anymore. I'm now hearing more and more. It's Andrew Thomas has blown him away. Originally, too, a lot of people thought it was Tristan, the kid out of Iowa, because he scored so high on those tests that they love to see over there. I do think it's more of a mystery. But even Becton wouldn't surprise me, though, because, again, he's a freak athlete from Louisville. So the only one that doesn't seem to have linkage is the kid out of Alabama. That guy seems to have no link to the Browns whatsoever so far in all the rumors.
Could you see if some of these, let's put it this way, if the offensive tackle that they want isn't there, can you see if for some reason, if Isaiah Simmons slips, that the Browns go defense and they grab linebacker? It's a position where I feel like the Browns are extremely weak right now, beyond the secondary on their defense. Depending on what kind of defense they plan on running, is linebacker a possibility at 10? That would be a surprise pick, but I would completely understand it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised again. And we've talked about this, Andy. This is the one year where trading back would not bother me.
I think Isaiah Simmons is tempting. Now, there are 2 or 3 players who Isaiah's one of them. I've said on the last podcast, I'm more on it. Jared Judy out of Alabama would, if he's there at 10, take a deep breath. I know he's a wide receiver, but you could use him, put him in, and get him warmed up. So for that time when either Landry or Odell moves on, you have him ready to go, and you have a backup in case one of those guys get hurt. Now the Lions pick is in. Let's see who they draft. Selection is can't read lips really well.
Yeah, I think I'm running behind.
It is Okudah from Ohio State.
All right, so
after all this drama in the past 24 hours, everybody who thought this months ago, this is such the NFL draft. Oh, Okudah's dropping. Okudah does go to Ohio State. So he's going to the Lions. That's what everybody thought initially.
That's a good move. Okudah's going to be a player. He's going to be a player. We'll see if Matt Patricia's still got, he's got his issues with
big year, by the way, for him. Big year. And that's not going to, here's another question that you and I have not talked about. Patricia's a good example of this. Everything that's going on in the country, is this hot seat a little cooler anyways now? Probably, right?
You're saying, say that again, Andy?
Patricia was going to be on a hot seat this year.
Yeah, no, he has to be.
But isn't it a little cooler because of what's all this going on with the coronavirus?
I think that it's cooler for everyone.
I do too.
I think that it has to be. I think that, I mean, we've talked about this too, Andy, is that the Browns' new regime, new, old, whatever, but depending on who we're talking about, because if we're talking about DePodesta, obviously he's been around, but the way he's put this together, I think that there's going to be a lot of patience, and it's going to be a long leash. We like to talk about leash length in Cleveland with coaches and with regimes. Leash length. I think this is a long leash. I'm really wearing this out.
No. I mean,
I do. I don't know how you could look at it any other way. I think it benefits everybody. I think it benefits Baker. Where I don't think it benefits people is when we go back to talking about this. And I wanted to jump back to this, the wide receiver core, and the other reasons why, if Judy's still on the board, why you might want to grab a Judy.
I would take him.
You might have a strong wide receiving core in Cleveland, but you don't have depth, and you don't have depth.
Any depth.
And when have we had? What is wrong? And you've mentioned this before, Andy. What is so wrong with grabbing young talented guaranteed talent, not guaranteed production on the field? We know that that's time away.
Right.
We know that that'll take time, but guaranteed that somebody early, because the assumption is, oh, well, you've got your Landry, you've got your Odell Beckham Jr. You can wait until the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, grab it. You can get supplemental draft, whatever they want to do, and take your risks on guys. But we know, number one, those guys have been nothing but disasters for Cleveland. Nothing's worked out.
Yes.
They're thin at wide receiver, although they are strong.
Yes.
And we also know that both Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. played through injuries last season. So the injury possibility is there. And whether or not they're going to continue to play through, you don't know, Andy. So
the salary cap gets dicey, as we all know, in 2 years. It's a little bit more dicey next year. It's even more dicier then. It's going to be hard to keep Odell and Landry in 2 years. Not next year, but in 2 years. If you draft a Jared Judy, you have someone ready to come in who's on a cheaper contract. You can now make an example of like,
you're talking what, 5 million cheaper or something like that, maybe more. Absolutely.
I just think long-term thinking, like, again, it's different things, different players. The other thing too, Alabama's been turning out wide receivers left and right who are going big time places.
Mm-hmm.
Julio Jones, Amari Cooper. Mm-hmm. There's other wide receiver examples too. OJ Howard, the tight end from Tampa. All these guys are really good players at Alabama. And you watch them play. It reminds me of what Florida State was doing in the 90s with wide receivers. And it's what it's like right now and what's going on with Alabama. Jared, I just think if that guy's there 10, even if you need an offensive tackle, make that trade for Trent Williams.
Yeah. Get
Jared Judy in here or Isaiah.
Yeah, because you're talking about money. You're talking about money for the next 1 or 2 years, and it's going to be off the books. You're not talking. You get Trent Williams in here now, and then you draft that offensive tackle next year, right?
Yes.
Right. So why not? Why not?
Again, if those two guys and Lamb's another one. Now, Lamb from Oklahoma's had injury issues, so I'm a little more. I think he's going to be pretty good. I agree with what Paul Feinbaum was on KNR today, and I agree with what Paul said.
Mm.
I think Jared Judy is going to be an absolute star. I just do. And I just don't understand why, if you were there at 10 and you don't get the tackle you want, or you get Trent Williams, why you just automatically trade down. Now, let's bring up that conversation too. I do think out of all these things we're talking about, if we had a lane like drafting Andrew Thomas, drafting another offensive tackle, maybe it's Becton, or we'll see who's there left at 10, right? Or trading down, Jared, we'll have to see how this all shakes a little bit here, and especially with the Giants now up with about 3 minutes left. But Jared, I must say, listening to DePodesta especially, and knowing that he has this plan in place he talks about, you got to keep in mind here that really at the end of the day, what's going to happen is that trading down's possibility. Ian Watson asked a great question. I'm going to answer.
Ian.
Ian.
It's Ian Eagle. It's Ian Watson.
Ian Watson. Mr. Watson. Great last name.
He might be my brother commenting on Facebook, asking a question.
I really do think at the end of the day, it is a duo purpose. It's DePodesta and it's Andrew Berry. with Kevin Stefanski somewhere. But I do think it's a two-person thing with the trigger being pulled by Andrew Berry. We've heard collaboration a lot. I know it's one thing to say that. I know it's one thing to say.
Brad Pitt, EJ says
I know it's one thing to say that Andrew Berry's actually making the call. I do. I think if there's a torn room, maybe Andrew Berry wins the day. But I've seen collaborations in the past, and I believe in this more than anybody. I think DePodesta's running this more than what people want to believe. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. Time will tell. But I think DePodesta is really running this more than what people believe. I think it's a duo. I think DePodesta and Berry are linked together on this. I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's a duo.
Let me ask you this, since I'm a feel guy. Is it me? Because I'm noticing that these guys, DePodesta, Stefanski, all of them, there is a coolness to their even when they're saying the words that they have to say that sound like everyone else has said, the way that things are said with these guys, there is a cool, calm collectedness to how they seem to be approaching everything that feels slightly different. And maybe it's it doesn't feel forced portion. Maybe it's we're not coming in here with bravado, even though it's a confidence. It's a confidence within themselves in their plan, but it's not there's just something about the attitude that I feel is on the right track.
I do too. And here's what I would compare it to, and it's what I'm hoping. We hope it's Antonetti and Chernoff. And that's maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Yes. Thank you. I don't even know why I didn't say that. I don't know why I didn't say that.
Where they share power. And that's why I'm saying it's not necessarily a bad thing.
And there's never panic while everyone else is screaming and throwing fits, or everyone is excited, or everyone is highs and lows and ups and downs. And they don't seem to flinch in the face of those things.
The biggest thing here that I will remind, and that's why we'll have to see how it plays out tonight. They don't seem to flinch yet. Tonight's is a different story.
I know. It's too
the
early.
only thing that's hovering, and I'm not ignoring it, so I'm going to bring it back. It's hovering. You can see it in the sky.
Where?
You can see it. You can feel it.
It's dark
out. 1 in 31. You can feel it. You can see it. You can just see it out there, and you can feel it. And that is the one thing that they have accepted. Better than I thought, but they have to understand that's hovering. They were a part of that. Now, Sashi Brown was the guy who took the walk off the plank. Okay. This is now your second chance. And that's why I've been saying since January, I think DePodesta feels the pressure of needing to win now and needing to do big things now, because he can't. That hovering 1 in 31's there, Jared. It's there. And it's fair. It's very, very fair.
Yeah, but you can't have it both ways though, Andy, because you might be under pressure to win now, but at the same time, how is that a fair expectation if they don't, and you still want to build continuity and believe in the process over the next few years?
Giants pick is in. I'm going to get on that point in a second. It's a good pick. Yep. Giants pick is in. Let's see if they pick here. And do what you're getting at. Let's see what Mr. Goodell's got here. He's got a cool. Looks like a fan.
Well, I'm looking at Gettleman's setup right now, and it looks pretty bland. It looks like he's in his attic.
Andrew Thomas, Georgia. So that was the guy that the Browns had linked to liking the most. He's now off the board. So now you got one of the guys that's rumored to be liked by the Cleveland Browns.
So Wirfs is going to slip a little bit then, depending on how that works out.
Well, now you've added a little bit more juice to this element. The Simmons factor is now more in play, because there's been other teams who rumor might be taking Simmons, but Simmons and Giants have been linked really hip to hip for a while. So that's
you want a defense that just, oh man, I don't know.
But going back to Jared's point, this is why this regime, I feel better about it. I feel good about it. I don't feel great about it, because, and I came from a long way. I was not happy to, okay, it's better, to like, okay, I'm feeling good. I will never feel great, Jared, until I start seeing games.
The W's, brother.
Because of 1 in 31. And I don't think it's unfair. I don't. It's hovering. It's in the air. It's in the air. And it's in a, It's very thick. It's very clouded, but you just hope we got to turn off Antonetti's situation where they can really manage things. So that way our new Tito Francona for the Browns, Kevin Stefanski, can be ready to roll. That's what you hope. That's what you hope. Let's get to the live draft here. I mean, that if you're the Browns and hearing what we've been hearing, so that's the first one, right?
Yep.
So now here comes the biggest new wild card. Everybody's been saying the tackle will be now taken by the Dolphins, not Tua. I want to go on one thing quickly. If I were the Dolphins or if I were a Dolphins fan, because you have multiple first-round picks this year, next year, and the year after, I really think you should take Tua here. I think Tua makes a lot of sense here.
Yeah, if you're looking at that, there's still the possibility that they want Herbert. Yes. The Dolphins could go Herbert, although who seems the better fit? I don't know. Two to the Chargers, maybe. Oh boy! And I don't.
Well, Gettleman's got a mask on. That is weird, huh?
All right. My stream is different than yours. I didn't know
Gettleman. He's in his home office, and then looks like Joe Judge, the coach, is talking to now probably Andrew Thomas on the phone. He's got his NYPD hat on.
I'm probably behind you. That's my guess because I'm streaming on Hulu. Hulu stream sports. Hulu Live.
But anyways, I think if you're the Dolphins, because of all those multiple first-round picks, I think Tua is the dice roll here.
And Tua is a dice roll.
He is. And that's another player here too. If the Dolphins here.
Oh, there's the mask. He's in a room by himself. Why is he putting a mask on?
Oh, so bizarre. The other thing too, I'd be keeping in mind here.
Gettleman, come on, guy. You're by yourself.
So weird. The other thing too here, I think it's really, really odd. If Tua does not get drafted, not odd. I'm sorry, that's not the right word. Interesting decision for the Browns here. Jared, you tell me what you think. If Tua drops, all your offensive tackles don't get picked. Jared Judy's gone. Isaiah Simmons somehow gets gone too. 10 might be a really valuable pick all of a sudden. Or for Justin Herbert too.
Yeah, you're right. If those quarterbacks slip, because you're looking at let me look at this. Let's take a second here. Then you're looking at, well, there's a handful of teams that are either ready now or will be ready soon for a quarterback.
Jacksonville is also wanting to trade down, so Jacksonville could also be a possibility if Tua makes it to 9. And right now they're showing Tua at his home. There's no signs of him getting any kind of phone calls or any kind of motion. And then they're showing the Dolphins coach now, who looks like he's relaxing with his kids. It is very interesting to watch all the Brian Flores. I forgot his name, Flores. It's interesting watching all these guys at their home, their homes here. They're being
I'm digging Tua's setup in his house. I love that. All the wood. Oh yeah, that's my kind of place there. The wooden brick. Oh yeah, that looks cozy. That looks cozy. He's got one hell of a suit on too.
Yeah, but it looks like the Dolphins pick is in. Everybody's really chilling out because even Chris Greer, the GM for the Dolphins.
Well, and they're focusing here. Let's see. I mean, is Tua going to the Dolphins?
I would do it. Wouldn't you do it if you're the Dolphins? I would do it. You got multiple first-round picks. Why not? You need a quarterback. If Tua is healthy, Tua can win you big games. He can win you big games. If he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
If he's healthy. Pick is in for the Dolphins. I'm gonna say they don't take Tua. I think they're gonna take the offensive tackle.
I don't think they are either. There's no phone. There's nobody on the phone.
I think that's such a mistake.
Although it's so weird. It's so hard to tell because you don't know how they're making these phone calls and timing this stuff now with all these different streams and everyone being at their house. Normally you'd be able to tell because you'd kind of be able to tell, right? I mean, we'd have a better idea.
I'll tell you where this is a hard draft for. It's a hard draft for Mel Kiper. Because Mel used to be on the screen all the time talking. Poor Mel in his basement. He only gets 20 seconds, 10 seconds to rip. Poor Mel must be like, motherfucker. I just got so many thoughts in my head and got me on a clock. He's like, keep showing me different screens. And I'm like, oh my God, poor Mel must be going crazy. And then they got Trey Wingo and an empty set in Bristol. Doing a good job, by the way. Lowe's with the logo in the background, presented by.
I'm loving that Lewis Riddick ball with Browns over the Patriots for that AFC wild card.
Is that what he's saying? Now they're going to a Zoom. It's interesting too. They're mixing Irvin and Kurt Warner. You got this is interesting 7-screen panel here. I gotta say this again though, and we've learned this as Browns fans. When you have a chance to take a quarterback, take that quarterback.
Take the quarterback.
I wouldn't mess around with this.
Don't screw around. And you know what? You take a quarterback every year until you pick the right one.
Again,
every year.
The Dolphins don't have draft capital for years to come. Don't take the quarterback here. I'm telling you, it's the right move to go. All right. The long pause is almost over.
It is such a long pause. I am. You know what? It's nice though. Hey, I'm glad Michael Irvin. Add a G there. Found. No, now I'm trying to listen again.
There we go. Tua Tagovailoa.
Wow.
Going to Miami. Smart pick. Right pick here. You have
all right. So let me ask you this then. Justin Herbert, the next quarterback.
I would not take
off the board.
But probably.
So how far does he slide then? Because if he doesn't go to the Chargers, because the Chargers, I mean, what do? Do you grab it? Do you grab a Jordan Love from Utah State?
A lot of people like him. I did not watch enough of him to get an opinion.
Yeah, same.
But I watched enough of Oregon. The one thing about Justin that really bothers me is when someone got like that is he did not look good in big spots.
So there they go. He's on the phone.
Oregon had a chance to Oregon had a real boy. They're showing his injury too, by the way. The day he gets drafted. A little rough.
Yeah, you're gonna want to run that tape back for your family for the rest of your life. Thanks.
Tua just got drafted. Where's that injury B-roll from Arkansas? Like,
we got that B-roll.
I got that B-roll beat up. That's a little rough. I gotta admit, I'm not one of those guys that feels that way. It's a little tough. First thing you show there after he gets drafted. But,
I'm sure he'll wipe his tears away with all the money he's gonna put in his pocket.
You know what he needs to do? Just go to bevmax.com and get your favorite whiskey there too.
You stole. See, you know what? I was gonna drop my own BevMax conversation here, and you stole it from me.
But that's a smart pick by the Dolphins.
Check them out.
Bevmax.com. So, Western Michigan's own Paul Flynn. So, I think the big thing here is though now Tua's off the board. The Chargers are not been rumored taking offensive tackle, and now Jarid, the Browns can maybe get a little comfy. Let's say they did like 2 tackles here.
Yeah,
you're getting a little more comfy now because there was a rumor that the tackles would be gone. I don't think that's going to happen unless you get I know there's been rumors maybe the Cardinals would take one. Maybe they do. The Buccaneers trading up, but the Browns should be breathing a little easier now because you don't see 3 tackles coming off here in the next, 6 picks.
Well, but here's the other question. Do the Browns have more than one tackle that they have their eye on, or is it one that they really like and they don't want to and if it's not their guy, then they trade back?
Well,
and by the way, I'm frozen on the screen. Am I frozen in your ear? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Just can't see you. You're pixelated, but you're good. So here's what I would say about what you're kind of what you're referencing here. I just think if you're the Browns and you really want one of these tackles, you can breathe easier now because you're going to get a chance to draft one of these tackles. In my opinion, I think it's going to take a lot for one of these guys not to be here. But the other thing here that you can also say, Judy is still on the board. You still have on the board 2 Isaiah Simmons.
Right.
And you still have other guys on the board who are tradable. That meaning like if Isaiah Simmons and draft Jared Judy or Simmons, by the way, if he's there. But in case you really are high gung-ho on getting an offensive tackle and one of those guys go to the Cardinals, let's say, you're going to have a good position here now to trade down because people are going to want your pick. So this went positively because you didn't want to see the nightmare of like some reason there's two tackles gone. There's only 1 tackle gone. So it allows you now more of a position to say, let's see what happens in the upper picks. And hopefully by the time it gets down to where the Browns are picking, your tackles there, or if you really want to trade down, you can, because I think now there's some guys who are following who people are going to want. So we'll see.
again, I'm not in a position where I don't find myself. This isn't a year where I'm going to be angry.
No, I hear you.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a year where I'm going to be angry. I'm not going to be mad at whatever their decision is.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's great, by the way. You can still hear you, and your face is frozen, but it's great. Is you can hear you.
And I'm looking. It feels like this might be more of a computer issue than it is an internet issue. And I'm trying to shut down certain programs.
Yeah.
And I'm going to double check. And I'm going to double check my. I'm going to double check my hard drive and make sure that I haven't completely loaded this thing up, because I am also. No, it should be fine. It absolutely should be fine.
As to do things on your end. And your picture looks better now, but it's frozen. At least it's not pixelated. But to what Jared's alluding to, I think this year, even though I'm really high on Browns taking Jared Judy, which I don't think will ever happen, even if they don't, it's wait and see no matter what you do. Good to see Chris Mortensen's. By the way, Chris Mortensen looks good. He's been battling cancer, and I must say, looking at him on screen, he has good color in his face. Looks like he's gaining weight. Look good. He looks good on television today.
Yeah,
it's good to see that. He's a good man. He's a really Chris Mortensen's a really, really good guy. So it's good to see that. But again, it gives the Browns options. A lot of things still popping. Still nothing really. I mean, I'll have to check Twitter again, but I don't think I saw anything with Trent Williams yet. And again, like I think, there's these now things coming out in Bengal land that say Joe Exotic. So those are going to be the new for you Bengal fans out there. So,
oh my gosh, I haven't even. Oh, that's hilarious.
Appropriate. That is appropriate.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I think I got my video back, by the way.
Yes, you do. You're back. Welcome back.
Yeah, there was something. So for all you computer nerds out there, was something like my CPU was running at 100% for some reason, and I don't know what was locking it up, because I've got plenty of memory and RAM free, but my CPU was running at 4 cores, all at full power.
There's nothing more I like to talk about on Thursday night than a good CPU problem.
So let's take a break from this NFL draft night and talk more about this Intel i7 core processor.
Do you think the Los Angeles Chargers will have fans next year? I don't think they are. They have cool new uniforms?
No.
And I don't think it matters at all.
No.
I really do.
Here we go. We got the Johnny Manziel. Yep. Flashbacks. Why are we having flashbacks right now?
No, we don't need to do that.
No.
Certainly 2 is not Johnny Manziel, right?
No.
Wait,
no.
But again,
nobody is the shit show that Johnny Manziel was. Nope.
I want to repeat one more time. We don't care about the Dolphins. Fuck them. That was the right pick. That was the right pick by the Dolphins.
Yep.
You have to take 2 of there. You have too many draft picks. Made too much sense. Everybody thinks it's going to be Justin Herbert at times, but I think the Chargers are the most. They actually found fans to put on the background. Good for them. I don't know where these people came from. I'm sure they're getting paid properly, but that is unbelievable how they're showing up. Justin Herbert, quarterback, Oregon.
Cool, because I am not there yet. This is what it's like when Andy and I are just watching a game, because I
tells me shut up.
you have DirecTV and I stream off Hulu, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's always ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to get off the phone with him. Stop. You're ruining it for me. Yeah. Now I'm seeing Roger Goodell. Oh, hey, let's talk about this real quick.
Sure.
Speaking, now that I'm seeing Goodell on the screen, making the call. Now I'm seeing it. Justin Herbert. So the Chargers. There you go. You heard it from me second. The Saints today used that hashtag on Twitter, Boo Goodell, I believe. I can't remember exactly what the hashtag was, but it was meant to be. That hashtag was supposed to be a like a joke, and it was sponsored by somebody. Do you know what are you familiar with any of that, Andy? It looked like the Saints caught a lot of flack for posting that, telling them, "Oh, you're classless," and this and that. And everyone's tying it to the fact that the Saints got screwed in the playoffs and this and that.
2 years ago.
And actually, the hashtag was it was a sponsored hashtag that was that Goodell was in on the joke.
Oh,
He did a commercial, not necessarily with the Saints. I'm not sure if they were getting a little dig in with it while they could. But I didn't know if you had seen any of that or any of the fallout.
no, I don't pay attention to Saints.
Okay,
No.
cool. You don't give a shit. He doesn't know. No information.
No. Let me just say, I love sports. I read so much sports. Since coronavirus, I read a lot of sports, but I at times have been so into what's going on day to day in the country, what's been going on day to day with Connecticut and other states that I'm connected to, that I've been more into that and what's going on with that public health pandemic thing. And I haven't, it's been like, I'm still connecting and stuff, but it's weird. Like I gravitate, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I do. I absolutely.
I was on Twitter all the time. I'd be reading those stories. I'm seeing them, but I'm more gravitating towards, what's going on with the health and what's going on coronavirus. What's the latest? I'm more into that right now.
I am feeling exactly the same way, Andy. I told my wife tonight when we ordered food out from one of our favorite barbecue places in town and had food delivered this evening. And I said, okay, now I got to go. I got to get in here and I got to sit down and I got to start doing some of this show prep. I got to do some draft prep. And it was about an hour prior. And I had planned on doing it a couple of hours earlier, but I was so glued to the conversations about what was going on in the country that I finally looked at my wife and said, I got to change this channel. Yeah. Why am I still watching this? Why? And I know why, because let's be real, outside of everything else going on, there's nothing more important than that.
No,
there's nothing. But at the same time, a little escape for those who can, you should do it. And while you're doing it, don't beat yourself up, but be grateful and think of those who can't. That's what I'm telling myself.
Yeah. Well, the bigger thing,
my comment, my thought to myself was, I am equally joyful. I'm equal parts joy and sadness right now. Right. That's what I am.
Yeah.
I am happy that I ate some of my favorite smoked spicy wings on this planet and have myself a nice cocktail. And I'm sitting down and I'm watching this draft and I'm doing this show and I'm grateful for every minute of it. And I'm saddened that not everyone else has that same ability. But I'm doing my part. Mm-hmm. I'm giving good ratings to everyone who comes to this house and drops something off. I make sure if I'm upstairs, I open my window and yell out to them, thank you. Yes. Look, it's small. It's minuscule. I try to donate some extra money because I have a little bit of extra cash as it comes in, because I'm not driving anywhere that would normally be allotted to go to gasoline or some other things, that I can throw a couple bucks to help some causes that I care about and doing some of those things. Look, am I doing it for myself? Absolutely. Yes, I am trying to do some things for myself to feel better about the situation. But I'm also, it doesn't go unnoticed. It doesn't go unnoticed what all these folks are doing to keep this country going, to keep themselves going. And they're going to do it until all of this is over with.
Yes.
And I've been in that position before in my life, where I thought something was never going to end. I've been in the position in my life where my life was at risk. I know these feelings very well. I feel them often on a day-to-day basis. And in this situation now, I feel them daily.
It's hard.
And all I can do is be grateful. I understand my limitations, but I'm very grateful. So there you go. I'm off my soapbox or whatever you want to call it.
I understand. You got to live in the moment.
It's been emotional. It really has. I don't know.
Taking walks helps, at least for me.
I know we were joking about it earlier, but we took a good 3-mile walk today. Half of it with the dogs and half of it by ourselves. And I think my wife and I needed that.
Just go outside
and have that time together and just talk,
It's really, really important.
Yeah.
So the Panthers are now in. They're not going to take an offensive tackle unless there's something shocking. They've not rumored to take an offensive tackle yet. Then you got two teams who could take an offensive tackle. So unless something really strange fucking happens, the big 4 offensive tackles, you're going to get one of them at 10.
It seems like nobody's being cute.
I think Justin Herbert's a reach. I'm interested to see if that works out for the Chargers. Good news, he'll have no pressure because no one will be in the stands in Los Angeles. So there won't be any problem. I mean, unless it's like a team like the Browns.
Can we talk about that too? What is going on out west with the way that these teams are moving around, and where is how did they get approval?
San Diego's a whole different podcast, and I'm not going to get into it tonight. That was a big mistake.
I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of moving teams.
We're Clevelanders. You don't move teams.
No.
You don't move teams. So, and I don't, unless it's something that I can foresee where I don't see fans coming anymore and it's time to leave. Like, I think there's going to be a big debate in future years about the Devil Rays in Tampa. That's something I can listen to and I'll take in and gravitate to. But for other people like out there, okay, Matt Rule's in his house. Remember, Browns fans, he thought, even though the Browns were never going to take him anyways, he thought he was too good for the Browns. They didn't even want an interview for the Browns. So he's going to be no Cam Newton there. No Cam Newton. But the Panthers are a strange team. They've been a strange team for a while. Ever since that loss to the Broncos, they've been a strange team. All right, Cadell's looking at the Panther fans.
I know. I'm trying to look here. I'm pulling. Yeah, Matt Rule. Yeah, whatever. What is he wearing in his office? Wait, what is he getting drafted today?
Good question.
What an idiot. I'm not a fan.
Derek Brown, smart pick. That kid's a star. Great job by Rule. He's going to be a big-time player. So Derek Brown's off. So now, all right, Brown.
Well, now you've got.
Now you got a tackle and play. You're going to get one of those 4 tackles now in your spot. Because now it's just mathematics. You're for the.
You got Thomas, Wills. I'm sorry, not Thomas. Wirfs, Wills,
and Becton. And Becton.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was listening to Goodell now.
Wirfs, yeah. Twiston Wirfs, Jedrick Wills, and Mekhi Becton. You're gonna get one of those. And by the way, as of right now, you have 2 players. Now here's where it gets fun. Let's see what happens here with the Cardinals. And I'm just gonna mention it, even though he has no chance of going to Cleveland. If Jared Judy gets by the Cardinals, he won't get picked by the Jaguars. So you have Jared Judy, Lamb, and possibly Simmons.
Judy would get. Yeah, there's no way he's going to go to the Cardinals.
I think Judy's going to go to the Cardinals right now.
Yeah, there's no way he slips past the Cardinals.
Yeah, guy's crazy talented. He's so good.
It's got to be. But if it's not, oh goodness. If it's not, oh goodness, then you don't know.
Make that trade for Trent Williams. Get that kid Ezra Cleveland.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
What happens, Jared? Is I liked him. Okay, let's say Judy goes here. You take Simmons or an offensive tackle? I think Simmons is going to fall to the Browns now.
I liked the idea. I loved. Yes, I don't. Yes. Then you still have to make the move for Trent. If they look, you know that they're going to. If they do.
Cardinals pick is in, by the way, but they take 3 minutes, so don't worry. So keep going.
If they do, no, you know what they're going to do? Boy, I don't think they have their eye on a linebacker. I just don't. I think they're either going to take the offensive tackle or they're going to trade back. It's so hard to tell.
I think if Simmons is there, the Browns are going to have to take a deep pause.
So hard to tell.
That kid was a beast last year in college.
I don't know. Well, look, Andy, the defense was atrocious last year. They cleaned out linebacker. Linebacker's going to, I don't know. Is Mac?
I would say this, though, to have someone like Simmons out there helping out again, putting pressure on the ball.
That's my thing.
Simmons is bigger than Palomalo. He's bigger than him, obviously. But to have someone who could be rangy and run around the field, which Simmons did for Clemson last year, and did a nice job with that, and also played nice against the run and filled gaps.
I mean, that helps with a weak secondary. That helped.
I think so too. I don't agree with the assessment that he doesn't have a position. I don't agree with that. I don't want to hear that. If he can play and the kid can fill gaps, take him. And the Browns have not done anything to their defense this year. Nothing. On that kind of level.
Well, this is the thing. You have to get Trent Williams. Then you have to do something. Otherwise, you're telling me you don't care. You don't care about Baker if you don't.
Even if the Browns draft an offensive lineman,
time to
still, I think need. Yeah.
Sorry, say that again. I was mumbling.
It's okay. You know what? It's now time for the big. Because I want to see who Judy gets drafted.
I'm so damn antsy right now.
By the way, no trade so far.
It's been as clean a draft.
Okay. Here we go. Isaiah Simmons going to Arizona. So is that Simmons now gone?
Shit.
So Jared.
Oh shit.
So now you're now the Browns are getting closer. We're getting closer now.
Oh,
Jared Judy. The Jared Judy theory is coming right into play here.
I never thought there was a chance in hell, Andy, over the past week that we have talked about this. I never thought there was a chance in hell.
One pick away from having me have a big rant about why you should take Jared Judy. We're one pick away.
Oh boy.
Maybe Jacksonville takes Judy. I don't think so, though. There's been a lot of rumors that the Bucs might try to trade with Jacksonville to get an offensive tackle at the Browns. So I think that's in play now. Again, just to review, Isaiah Simmons just got picked. So you got Becton, you got Wills, you got Wirfs. All available. Wirfs scored high on the scores that they like, that the Browns really believe in. Becton's the most athletic. Wills played for Alabama. What else do you need to say?
You know that Wills is I think me and Mel Kiper agree. Wills is the top offensive tackle.
By the way, they're showing Simmons now. Simmons has a size of like a big cornerback or a linebacker, and he's covering wide receivers. That was silly. The Giants didn't take him. That was silly. That was silly.
Well, that would have been fun. That would have been fun with him in Cleveland. That's what I think.
He's a big guy.
But
ass too.
Oh boy, Jerry Jeudy, Nick Saban. He has absolutely nothing wrong with him. Oh boy. Well,
we're almost there because again, you're going to get one of your offensive tackles now. You're going to get your choice of 2 at the least, maybe 3. You still got Jared Jeudy on the board, as everybody knows. I keep saying every 5 seconds. Lamb's on the board, Oklahoma. But Simmons now debate's over. That's a good draft pick by the Cardinals. I'm surprised that they went that way. That's something I would not have expected them to do because they are such an offensive-minded team. But
wait a minute. Is ESPN2 running The Last Dance up against the draft right now?
Maybe.
That seems strange to me. Yeah.
They better play that show as much as they can before Netflix gets it. So they have a lot of airings to do. Does
Netflix have rights to it?
The streaming rights are not for ESPN. The streaming rights are for Netflix.
Oh, no shit. Because I would have assumed it would have dropped to
ESPN to play the hell out of it. No. ESPN needs to play the hell out of that show. I'd be playing it every night. I wouldn't even care.
By the way, Simmons didn't look like he wanted to kiss his girlfriend right there. I'm just saying.
A little awkward. Awkward. So, Jared, am I crazy about Judy?
No. I thought you were crazy. I didn't think there was a chance in hell that this would.
We're here.
Isaiah Simmons doing a little LeBron James, powder on his hands, throwing it in the air. I can respect that. Another reason why.
We got any rumors about Trent Williams? Go on Twitter. Is there anything about Trent Williams? Nope.
No rumors, nothing, huh?
Okay.
What are you finding?
There was a rumor earlier today everything is still open, but that's not a rumor.
Yeah, no, I saw that too.
That's not really a rumor. All right, let's see if anybody knows what the Jaguars are going to do.
This is the part in the podcast I think where whoever's listening is going to fast forward to the pick.
Well, again, I cannot
because I think you and I are at this point where we're both kind of, I wouldn't say on the edge of our seats, but we're patiently waiting. I even, Andy, I'm serious. I think I want to get up and go and get myself a little bit of a top off here for this empty cocktail I have while I wait for a second. Are you against?
Go do that now.
Talking just, I mean, literally 10 seconds. I'm going 15 feet, grabbing something. I'm going to pour it right here, and I'm not gonna leave you hanging.
Go now.
Tell a story.
I'm going to recap.
We should get Paul Flynn back on to tell some more his story.
I'm going to recap the audience right now.
Recap the audience as I go and grab my bottle of Bullet Rye. Stand by.
So right now, 3 offensive tackles are available that have been listed in the top 4. The only guy who's been taken is Andrew Thomas. He went to the Giants. As I've been talking about in the last podcast, I thought something like this might happen where Jared Jeudy might be around. You got Lamb around. Other possibilities are in play here, but everybody's pointing offensive tackle. The other thing now that really comes into play, unless an offensive tackle here is taken, is I think trading down now for the Browns will not happen unless someone's really desperate. But again, I don't see where that desperate player is where people would reach unless it's Jeudy. I don't think you have to reach for offensive tackle now because you're going to have an offensive tackle of your choice after the Browns. I know the Jets are rumored to be that too. So I don't think the trade up now is in play. I really do think it comes down to something as simple as if you're going to take an offensive tackle, you're going to get your choice. But again, I think now that everything's played out the way it has, unless you're trading up for Jeudy or you're trading up for something you really like, which again, I don't see that player outside of Jeudy. Maybe Lamb, but I doubt it. If you're the Buccaneers, you don't need to trade up anymore because you're probably going to get your choice of one of those 4 offensive linemen at your pick. So trading down for the Browns, I don't think is going to happen now. Unless the Jaguars take an offensive tackle here. That's the only way I could see it because then you only got 2. And if they take the ones the Browns really like, then they might trade down.
Well, then we go to the conversation of, and I don't know whether you said this while I walk away. They draft an offensive tackle, then you're putting Jeudy in our hands.
I think Judy's the only one outside of the only way I can see this happening with the Browns trading down is if the Jaguars take an offensive tackle here. If the Jaguars don't, the Buccaneers aren't going to make a trade. No, the only player you could see teams making a trade up for is Jared Jeudy. That's it. I can't see teams making trades for anything else. And by the way, even with Jared Jeudy, if you think Jared Jeudy and Lamb from Oklahoma are very similar rated and you think they're both pretty close on stature, then you don't even have to trade up for those guys either because you're going to get one of those 2 at your spots. So
right.
I actually think at this point, trading down for the Browns, even though they want to do it, I don't know if it's going to be as ready available as they thought it might be. Unless the Jaguars take an offensive tackle.
Well, my thing is, I think that if they were planning on trading back, I think that it almost feels like with the layout of this year's draft, it's something that they probably would have wanted to have pre-planned with a team. If this happens, we are willing to do this. I don't know how willing, because let's face it here, we're dealing with a lot of uncertain. We're dealing with a lot of middle-aged dudes trying to deal with technology. That
I hear
at a very strange time in this world where they're trying to pull off a draft and produce a show and make moves. So you're signaling that the pick is in. And
I'm hearing it's CJ Henderson from Florida, and it is. So the cornerback from Florida is off the board now.
Wow.
So,
wow.
All right. So what will the Browns do? What should they do?
Wow.
I think the Browns are going to take the tackle out of.
Is the Jeudy stuff? Is the Jerry Jeudy issue the knee? Is it the knee?
Well, Jared Judy's good though. He is so good. Tristan Wirfs will be going to the Browns. I don't think they should. I think they should take Jared Jeudy. I'd take that kid in a heartbeat. Right now.
Even after the meniscus surgery years ago and the knee.
I saw him play last year. Where do you want to go? That kid's gonna be a star.
All right.
Absolute star. Now, I think I won't be upset if the Browns pick is already in.
Oh,
They had their mind made up.
they either had their mind, either that or they already made a trade.
Or it's either trade. Oh my God.
We can't tell.
The Browns thing. You can't trade now, would you?
Well, if it would have been a trade that they've already had discussed. This is my point. This is what I was saying, is that it would have had to been, this wouldn't have been an up to the moment thing. This would have been, hey, we're either going to do this. If this isn't available, we'll do this. Will that work for you? Yep. Trade. Boom. Let's do it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yes.
I'm not seeing anything yet.
Wax poetic indeed, Robin. Chiming in on Facebook. Thanks for watching.
All right. Well, they made that was quick. I don't see trades in any of the rumors.
Okay.
So there's nothing there.
Well, you're going to be announcing it to me because obviously I'm sitting here.
Everybody's assuming it's a tackle. Everybody's assuming it's tackle. All right. So
I'm having late feelings it might be Wirfs.
I think it's gonna be Wirfs. Yes, Robin. Wax pie. Yes. But they should take Judy. I'm telling you, the kid's gonna be a star. But if they take tackle, they have a big hole. I just hope there's not too much pressure on a young man, whoever he is.
Yes. Yes. Oh boy. I have no idea. And they're making us wait because they have to run through all the different video. They have to run through all the shots in people's houses. They have.
You know what? I kind of miss the good old days when the pick was in and you got a minute to get set up. You just roll. I mean, seriously. And by the way, there is no more walk up. There is no more confusion. Everybody's in their home.
Well, I think they're taking advantage of that, and they're producing the show is in the producer's hands more than it is. Okay. Yep. I think I was right. There we go. I was right. My last minute gut. No.
I'm hearing Jedrick Wills, Bama. Let's see, that guy's right. He's been right so far. I'm hearing Jedrick Wills, Bama.
Well, then that would. That was my original.
Jedrick Wills, Bama. We got so funny throughout
That's the selection. Selection is in.
Jedrick Wills, Bama. For all these guys, Wills OT. Yep. Wills. So here's what I would say about look, I just hope the guy's ready to go. I hope Browns fans realize that does not mean he's going to be a star, but he is a Saban guy, so you got to believe in that.
Yep.
I know there's going to be some people up there. There's a lot of people who are speculating about Tristan Wirfs. As the days were getting closer, Becton's rumors are really cooling off. So he's a big dude. He did block the blind side of Tua is left-handed. So he does know how to block the blind side. Even though he's a right tackle in college, does not mean he can't do the blind side. He did and did a wonderful job with it.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that. I really don't. I really don't. He's young enough. He'll be all right.
Look, I'm going to get off my Jared Judy thing now. I made my comment. If it works out that way, God bless. But here's the thing. This is a smart pick for the Browns in a sense that he was very highly rated. Many people thought originally he was going to go to the Giants in the top 4. He slid all the way down to number 10. As the days got closer, Becton and Wirfs were really starting to slow down. Wirfs, a lot of people think he's going to be a guard. So everybody's saying the same thing on Twitter, which I agree. It is a great pick. It's a good pick. It's the smart pick. Okay. You can't get upset about an offensive tackle when you don't have a left tackle. So it was the smart thing to do. I will say this, the Browns.
He's such a big dude.
Big guy.
Oh.
Let me just say this too. The Browns were confident in him because that pick came in within seconds.
And he's quick and he's powerful right off the snap. This is a kid that
Bama kid, good pick by the Browns. Good pick by the Browns.
He's a guy that, I mean, at least with the college guys, he's controlling these dudes with one arm. So-
Yeah. Well, again, welcome to Cleveland, Jedrick. We'll be cheering
Yes.
you on. We'll be excited to have you. You don't have any, and again, Jared, we speculated. Everyone speculated. Sometimes it's just easy peasy, right? This one was easy peasy. Offensive tackle from February to all the way. Yes, I agree. Jedrick Wills is the safe and solid pick.
Yeah,
There's
good call, Oshawn, commenting on Facebook.
No question about it. And again, this was what made sense to Jared Watson, to my mother, to Robin in Pennsylvania, to Paul Flynn, all the way in Fairfield, Connecticut, to everyone around the country. The Browns don't have a left tackle. So to take an offensive tackle here who's rated really high makes a lot of sense. That's good. That's good.
Matilda agrees.
Matilda's.
That's my boxer
Yes.
looking at us. For those of you who are listening on the podcast can't see, my boxer decided to be the only one who comes down here and join me while I watch the draft, sitting on her blanket that is on the couch.
Yes.
Like a good girl.
A good, very good girl.
She is clearly a Cleveland Browns dog. You can tell by looking at her.
Swagger a little bit.
Right? She does. She is. Yeah, she's a very stoic looking boxer. No emotion. Sits like a true lady.
Yes.
With her legs up under her. I don't know how she does it. Anyway, figured I'd throw that in there.
Anyways, for what it's worth, I think we'll take this dice roll. The Browns are probably not going to trade back in the first round of the draft.
No.
So I think tonight we'll say adieu here in the next 2 minutes. Jared and I will do a recap of the draft, and probably 5 or 6 days from now, once the draft's completed and we get a chance to actually read and take in what the Browns do, we'll review everything. Again, sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it just makes a lot of sense. And sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. The Browns had a hole at tackle. This guy, Wills, along with the other guys, were rated very high in the draft. It makes a lot of sense. It's a good, solid, safe pick. The Browns did what they had to do, and they filled a spot.
Andy, this is the first time in a very long time that I think I was dead on with the pick, that I knew what was going to happen, and that I called it. And that's not often for me. I'll pat myself on the back. I did have last minute nerves that got in the way, where I thought that it could have been worse, but no, it was Jedrick the whole way. And you can't be unhappy with that. If you're a Baker guy, which most of Cleveland is, this is a good pick for Baker today.
Yep.
And more evidence that they are trying to give him the fair shot that he deserves to bring some wins home to Cleveland.
There's no doubt now. Moving on, and we'll review this next week. I will say you got to take the best players available, but boy, they are not defensive players quickly. The Browns have added a lot of offensive pieces now.
Mm-hmm.
Hooper. Now this is the left tackle, and I can't remember, and now I'm going doing brain farts now. The Vikings backup quarterback who we just signed, the backup quarterback.
Yeah, my brain just stopped too.
Case Keenum.
Yeah.
They've been their free agents, as they alluded to, have been major offensive ads, right?
Right.
Conklin. You do need to start thinking defense. I would not go too much more offense, even though I think another wide receiver would help. I would, if I were the Browns, not go too much longer with not taking care of the defense.
Well, and I don't think they will. I can see them spending a lot of the rest of this draft on defense. I also think that this tells us that they have more hopes for some of the guys on defense that didn't start, that are young, that didn't develop like they wanted them to, that they still like what they've got on that side of the ball, to the extent that they're not panicking and that they're recognizing, again, Andy, are you telling me that coaches off? I'm sorry, that regime last year did anything to develop those kids on defense? Because I saw zero signs of it, zero. And he had a head coach who had his back to the ball when the defense was on the field.
No, I mean, let's look. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was a joke. Look, again, for the Browns, smart, safe pick. a linebacker and safety in day 2 or 3, please. Maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Maybe like
Yeah.
2 linebackers, maybe 1 safety, whatever. I would look at a good wide receiver.
Yeah. A value. I mean, there's going to be a value. I just don't ever have high hopes in any of these wide receivers. That's all.
I think the depth of the wide receiver, I would pick someone in the second, third, or fourth round. I really look at a wide receiver too, along with a linebacker and safety. That's
well, I mean, does a Justin Jefferson slip into the second round?
Maybe. I'll say this, and I'm going to remark on this. This is my final note here, and it looks like I don't know who that is in the background. Oh, Judy. Or Henry Ruggs. That's another guy. Ruggs is good too from Bama, but I think Judy's better. It'll be interesting. The Browns did the right thing here. Look, we're not going to over expel on this too much more. I'll be excited that they would do dive in. And again, here's my final note. I'm rambling now. The Browns have had a good start to an offseason where it's been an offseason strange for everyone. The Browns have done a nice job starting off. They have fixed gaps on the offense. This offense now is soup to nuts, ready to roll. Let's see what they do on the defense here in the second and third day. Again, the only position on offense I would be a wide receiver. I would pick up one other wide receiver somewhere in the draft. I really would. I would somewhere. Second day or third day, I'd pick up one wide receiver. And Becton's going to the Jets. Mikael Becton. So now the offensive tackles are coming off the board. And by the way, the Browns, this should be an underlying story. They should be really happy that the Dolphins didn't take an offensive tackle, that these crazy things that were rumored about the Cardinals, they took Isaiah Simmons. This really broke out the way the Browns needed to. And again, it was the right thing not to trade down. Because of how the board broke up, you can't trade down. So that was the right thing staying there too. Might have been tempting, but that was the right thing to do.
Well, let's see. I mean, we've seen some of these offensive tackles slip. Let's see if that translates into some of these wide receivers slipping that are in the back end of this first round, and then find value.
Yep.
There's always value to be found. Again, without being cute. And I can say right now, they didn't do anything cute.
Browns have actually, for the first time and for ages, have not been overly aggressive or cute. They've been very smart.
Isn't that nuts?
Because the Browns normally are, this is the first time they've been this way since Savage, when they signed the free agent out of the Saints for a center who broke the first day of practice, got injured, and his career ended. But that was and I thought Savage did such a smart job lining up that team to win, but they just had bad luck with injuries. But no, it's been since then. It's been a long time. That's over 10 years ago. It's been a long time. It's either been overly aggressive or cute. The Browns always get cute, but I'm not seeing that this year. Last year, I thought the Browns, we didn't know that until later, were overly aggressive. This year, they're being smart. I'm being truthful. Doesn't mean it's going to work out, but they're being smart. It's hard to get down the Browns. Good win. Good job tonight with your Jedrick Wills.
Nothing ever means that it's going to work out. No. All right, Andy. So again, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're going to come back and reattack what happens with the next rounds of the draft, probably in about a week. But I got to say, Andy, this was fun, man. This is the first time we got to do this. We, when all is said and done, we know we wanted to do this show for the draft up in New York City. We were going to do it from a Cleveland Browns bar, a Browns backer bar up in New York City. We were going to do the show, and it didn't work out that way. But I will say this again, for 1,000,001 reasons, I am beyond grateful to be able to do this show, to sit at my house, to have Andy as a friend, to do this show with, and for us to be able to have this thing that we do to try to distract not only ourselves, but you as well throughout all of this COVID-19 bullshit that we are stuck in the middle of for the foreseeable future. We're going to continue doing the show. We're going to continue to try to entertain. We're going to try to continue to tell you what we think is going to go on with the Cleveland Browns, with the Cleveland Indians, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and beyond. And we're glad to do that. Glad that you welcome us into your homes, whether it be on Facebook at facebook.com/Cleveland and Beyond, or on Twitter at CLE and Beyond. And remember, you can always shoot us an email, Andy and Jarid, Jarid, @gmail.com. Also, we've got to give a giant shout out to a new family member, Paul Flynn of BevMax. Glad to have him come on the show, sporting his Cleveland Browns hat and telling us about all the wonderful things that BevMax is doing to keep you and your family stocked up on the delicious beverages of your choice. Bevmax.com. They will ship it to you. So go ahead and take full advantage of that. Also, we're proud to be partnered with Waiting for Next Year. Waiting for Next Year, original Cleveland sports reporting right there at waitingfornextyear.com. Andy, final thoughts?
Thank you, Paul Flynn. It's funny seeing the Raiders. The Raiders are just always a funny organization. They're by far the most fun looking room so far. John's got his family around him, and Mike Mayock's in his kitchen, and he looks very comfortable. They look animated. I'm not a Raiders fan, obviously, but it's fun to watch that. But no, it was a good draft. And if we can, Jared and I will try to turn that show around on Monday or Tuesday next week. Because it'll just be Brown centric, obviously, and we'll go right to it.
Yeah. We don't have to. Yeah, we don't have to wait that long. Yeah, we can definitely do it. So
we'll try to turn around quickly and get into it. But again, my last words, even though I'm a Jared Judy guy and he is slipping in this draft, I think it's a mistake. I do think at the end of the day, this was a smart pick. It's a good pick. And he should be a good player. The Browns are on their way. It's hard not to feel like the Browns are on their way. Now they just got to roll out the balls and see what they can do moving forward. But again, it's hard not to feel that way. And I think Jared hit it 5 minutes ago, so I'll hammer it home. This wasn't a cute draft, and it wasn't an overly aggressive offseason or overly aggressive draft. The Browns did what they needed to do, and I'm glad with how the board broke down. I'm glad the Browns did not trade down. That was not the right move there with the tackles on the board. And by the way, obviously people are wondering, the guy Ruggs went before Judy, so... Crazy. Ruggs going to Vegas, and he's a good player, but not as good as Judy. But anyways, so sign off. We'll see you guys next week with the full breakdown of the Browns.
He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson. Andy and Jared, Cleveland and beyond. Wash your hands, wear a mask, stay in your fucking house. Love you all. Go Browns.
Go Browns. Cleveland Underground, baby.
Cleveland Underground. Give me some of that bourbon, baby.
Woo.
Take care.